Fuck you.
Don't buy this game. Just don't. It's really fucking bad. Okay, maybe I was being a little too harsh. It's not awful, but it's not good either. Never have I ever played a game that simultaneously bored me to death, yet really interested me, but not for the reasons that a video game should interest you. It's weird. Now the game I'm talking about is The Medium. Basically, The Medium is supposedly this story-driven horror-like video game. I guess if you want to call it a video game, look, I have a lot of pent-up aggression towards this game. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Look, warning, this is gonna be a rant video / review, I guess. I have a very, very clear opinion of this game, and if you don't like rants, then click away. But if you don't mind them and you just want to see or hear what I have to say, then stick around. I honestly don't really know where to start with this rant. Maybe I think it would be best if we start on a positive note, huh? Let's talk about what I liked about the game. How about that? Yeah, this game is soaked in rich atmosphere, honestly. It's fucking impressive what the devs were able to pull off with this. Especially like with the mechanic where, you know, the world is split in half with the real world, or the living world and the dead world. I love that. If you're like one of those weirdos that actually do like fucking walking simulators, then, you know, this is the game for you. Honestly, when I was watching the gameplay, the atmosphere really just got me hooked into buying. I really wanted to buy it because this felt like a very interesting game. It felt like it was more than what it actually is. And at times when I did play it, I did actually get a little hooked into it. I just wish there was enough gameplay to really get me more invested, but I'll get to that later. It's just, overall, the atmosphere is definitely a reason to buy this game. Now, unfortunately, due to YouTube's fucking copyright laws, I cannot show you the music to this game. But I will leave links in the description below for some of the songs that I really loved. God damn, is it amazing. The music is fucking phenomenal. Honestly, I get a lot of Silent Hill vibes from it. It's just so fucking eerie, honestly. You can tell that there was tons of effort put into the soundtrack here for this game, and that is something that is definitely worth applauding. Gotta love Troy Baker, honestly. Like, he is just so damn talented. Even if you don't like some projects that he's in, you can't deny that he puts his fucking all into his voice acting. And The Medium is no exception. He is fucking amazing. I just love his impression of Swedish Chef from the fucking Muppets.
Don't leave. Always leave. Stay with me. You get this slicey daisy for making a pumpkin. For making a pumpkin gooch.
Now, I mean, I don't really want to spoil much, so, because, like, I want you guys to develop your own opinion, so why don't you, look up, like, cutscenes and such, and, you know, develop your own opinion. I personally didn't like the story. Don't get me wrong, in the opening, it had a really good start. It had a lot of heart to it, a lot of really good writing, but as I just continue and continue, especially after I watched the cutscenes, because the game really just kept breaking for me. I'll explain that later, but the story just felt like it devolves, like it just ends. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have that payoff. It's like watching a Shyamalan movie. You expect like there's a really good setup for something, and then the ending's just terrible. Yeah, again, I don't want to spoil it, so I really want you guys to like see for yourselves. It's just To me, it really feels like it had a strong opening and a very weak finish, which really just, for a walking simulator where the story is supposed to be the driving force of the game, when the story just sucks, you ask yourself, what the fuck is the point of buying this game? What the fuck is the point of playing this game? And that's my biggest issue with the story. It just doesn't go anywhere. Gameplay. Well, lack thereof. Seriously, this game is fucking boring. Oh my god. Like, why don't we just, why don't we do a overview of what this gameplay entails? You basically walk very slow. You might be able to jog if the game will allow you to. It's really inconsistent. And then you interact with your environment. You look for clues, I guess, or you just look at objects. And then you could probably use your little ghost sense to see if something's nearby. And you would then find these like power conduits that allow you to juice yourself up so you can go through fucking moths for some reason. Those are a danger to you. You can make a shield, or you can also use that energy to turn on the generator. And then there's a bit of stealth. Now, while that may sound diverse, like it may sound like, hey, that sounds like a lot, it really isn't. It's as wide as an ocean and shallow as a damn puddle. It literally, you just get bored. I don't really know how to, you have to, I guess, you just have to really watch, like, someone play this, because you're just gonna get bored. Even interacting with it. I mean, you want to talk about walking simulators? This fucking game literally has an achievement called Walking Simulator. I mean, look, there just isn't enough gameplay to keep you invested. And while it's good at first, you just get bored with it easily and you just want to fucking stop playing. A game shouldn't do that, walking simulator or not. It really shouldn't make you want to stop playing. It shouldn't put you to sleep when it should be terrifying you. But this game really doesn't. And don't even get me fucking started with the goddamn knife on that skin wall. Jesus Christ, that's so fucking long. Do you guys remember this video? This is probably the biggest issue with the game. Sure, it's boring, and sure, the story is lackluster. But I wouldn't mind that if I could have at least just played the game. But I can't. There are so many game-breaking glitches in here, like lag, or the game would freeze, or it would crash. Hell, even ones that just, even small things that ruin my immersion, like the graphics just like fucking dying. It looks like it's just, I don't really know how to explain it. Picture the original Resident Evil games, right? Picture how those games look in terms of graphics. The graphics look okay when I'm not, like, you know, doing that split screen sort of mechanic. It looks fine, I guess. But immediately when I split apart, my game sort of lags like down to fucking 5 frames per second, and then the resolution and graphic like fidelity just goes right out the goddamn window. And it's laughably bad. Now, as to why Blooper decided to release the game in such a broken state is just beyond me. But I do have a theory. Microsoft had to delay Halo Infinite, right? Their launch title. And for a while, all they really had was a very decent service and, you know, being able to play all your games that you already have, you know, better. Basically, it was like upgraded versions of your games, which is good, honestly. The service that Xbox offers is amazing. The ecosystem, perfect. But the issue with it, though, is attracting in new people. Sure, you can tell people, you guys can play all these games, you know, way better on Xbox Series X or PC, but What about those guys that never really had an Xbox or don't really have many of those games? How do you attract those in? Well, it's simple. You make a product that's on that ecosystem, platform, console, or whatever that something else doesn't. Now, while exclusives, I hate them, there's a reason why they exist. So, anyways, Microsoft didn't have any new games, I guess. And in doing so, they realized they needed something to attract new people in. So what do? They go over to Blooper, they tell them, hey, guys, I don't know what you're making, but it looks pretty cool. Why don't you just like wrap it up and launch it, please? Can you do that? And Blooper was like, shit, I guess we don't really know exactly what we want with this game, so why not? And then they launched the game like this. This would explain why the story is lackluster, why the gameplay is just boring and doesn't have much to it, and why the game is broken as hell. Glitches occur only because, you know, the studio decided not to playtest the game and just rushed it out the door. That's the only reason why a game would be this broken. Okay, whether or not my Microsoft theory is 100% accurate is beyond me. I mean, I do have another theory that could explain why. My previous theory does at least give an explanation for why all the issues that I've listed exist, but there also is another reason. The studio itself just didn't know what they wanted with this game. And there is evidence to back this up. I read this article where it basically stated that this game was announced in 2012. And since then, they were trying to figure out how they would like make the game, but they then waited. There was a period of time where they waited because they didn't want to try and push the limits of the technology they had at the time. They decided to wait until new technology came out. I guess that's alright, especially if you wanted to make sure this game ran properly, but it doesn't run properly and it's broken. I really don't know. I really feel like they waited till the last minute to actually make this game, and when they finally had the technology, they're like, shit, we actually have like a very short deadline, let's make this. So, that's my theory. I honestly could be wrong. I know I can. This is just what I've read, and this is just what I think. Overall, the Medium sucks as a video game. It's boring, the story falls flat, the gameplay is terrible, the game itself is broken, and it just isn't worth your money, okay? I hope you guys liked the video. This was the first ever rant that I ever did for a video. And honestly, making a rant of this game was really disheartening, honestly. Because when I look at the strengths of this game, it had so much potential. But then when I look at the flaws, all those flaws just contradict the strengths, or they just chuck them out the window. Bloober really should have focused on the gameplay. They should have given you more of a reason to stay invested. They should have focused on the ending of the story. They really just should have looked at everything before they released it. And I hope that none of my theories were actually true, but unfortunately one of them might. And I don't really think it's the Microsoft one anymore now that I think about it, but okay, my overall score for the Medium is a 3 out of 10. 3 because, you know, that's the number of strengths this game had great atmosphere, good music, and great performances. So that was it. Be sure to subscribe if you're new around here, be sure to share the video if you can, and be sure to comment. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and without further ado, I'm out. See you guys.